and wife. The physical union of the spouses is therefore sanctified by the sacrament of matrimony. It is turned into a channel of divine grace. In its performance, it becomes for husband and wife an opportunity to collaborate with God's will, regardless of whether its performance requires efforts or brings satisfaction. Proximate preparation for sexual acts. When it comes to sexual intimacy, in the preparation of the speaker, there are two aspects or two preparations. The first one is immediate preparation. The first one is proximate preparation, and the second one is immediate preparation. Proximate preparation for sexual acts is the period close to the dates when sexual acts will take place. Do you try to be emotionally connected? Do you feel free and disposed to talking about having sexual acts? Do you feel comfortable having sexual acts with your spouse? The immediate preparation of sexual acts is that the day and around the time when the act will take place, you are already prepared.
Thank you.
Having good mindsets, think about it throughout the day. Good communication between both of you before, during, and after sex. How is your physical environment? How is your privacy, your lighting, dressing, your appearance, background music, or films, special meal and drinks taken together? In short, high emotional connection at this time. So the point here remains that there are two types of preparation that should take place before sexual act itself. One is the proximate, then the second one is the immediate preparation. The proximate is the time before the act, while the proximate is at that particular moment before the act takes place. That's a very good point. Mr. Polycarp, I can see you are back. Unmute yourself, please. Unmute yourself.
Yeah.
Please begin from proximate and immediate preparation.
Okay, let me get the slide for just 1 second.
Now.
Expression of sexual intimacy, physical intimacy, achieved through genital sexuality and other forms of expression of sexual love, cuddling, kissing, caressing, massaging, hugging, physical touching. Emotional and spiritual intimacy, achieved through sharing of material things and ideas, sharing interests and special time alone, words of compliments and appreciations, other expressions of love, love caring, entertainments, and playing together, watching films and playing music together. All the expressions of physical love promote emotional and spiritual connections between spouses. Be passionate about your marriage. This follows from investment of your time, energy, and strength. Passion is display of great affection and love. Having special times together alone, regular dates, and getaways allows you to build the emotional intimacy that is foundational to your sexual relationship. The intensity of sexual intercourse cannot, in and of itself, sustain the spiritual and emotional connection couple desire long term in their marriages. Romance and time spent focusing on your relationship is one of the most important keys to lasting sexual passion in marriage. Good hygiene and health. Before engaging in sexual acts, ensure you have good hygiene and health. Be neat, healthy, with good breath and odor. You may put on deodorant. Do you have need to shave the pubic area? Empty your bowel and bladder to avoid being distracted. There should be no obstacle to penetration of vagina by penis to ensure healthy sexual acts. Ensure adequate lubrication. Natural lubrication in a woman may vary widely with time. You don't just jump into sexual acts. Prepare, plan time, but don't be very meticulous and rigid. Be informal. Extend the time for non-genital lovemaking before the sexual acts. Cuddling, kissing, hugging, massaging, other forms of physical touches, etc. Remove environmental distractions. Sex drive, libido. There are differences in sex drives. Every person has his or her state of sexual drive at a particular moment. Thus, the drive a person has may not be static. It may change with developments in the physiology or psychology of the individual from time to time. High libido refers to an increase in or high desire for sex, while low libido refers to a decrease in or low desire for sex. Causes of higher libido: exercising. People who engage in physical activity tend to have high sex drive. Medical conditions and treatments. Stimulant drugs such as cocaine can cause an increase in libido. People receiving dopamine drug for treatment of Parkinson's disease will experience hyperactivity and higher libido. In fact, US Food and Drugs Administration have approved 2 drugs to address the problem of low sex desire in women. Some research suggests there may be a link between higher testosterone levels in men and their higher sex drives. Causes of lower libido. Causes of higher or lower libido. One is age. It is natural for men to notice gradual decrease in libido as they age. According to National Institute of Health, USA, little correlation exists between age and libido. Sexual desire depends on the state of mind and emotional attitude of the individual, but complications arising from old age may reduce the desire. Please, can you all hear me? Am I being heard?
Yes, we
Yes,
can hear you.
Father. Yes,
Loud and
Father.
clear, Father.
I hear you, Father.
Yeah. Carry on.
Pregnancy may have the effect of either high libido or low libido. Higher levels of estrogen and progesterone, as well as increase in blood flow to genitals, can lead to increased libido. But nausea, fatigue, stress, and many physical changes that occur due to pregnancy can reduce a woman's libido. Normal for woman's libido, it is normal for woman's libido to decrease during the first trimester, peak in the second trimester, or go down again in the third. During menopause, the sexual hormones decrease and will cause a decline in libido. Medical conditions and treatments. High blood pressure can cause erectile dysfunction and lower libido. Males and females with mental health conditions such as anxiety or depression will experience decrease in sex drive. Chemotherapy in male and female will reduce testosterone levels, leading to decrease in sex drive. In general, antidepressant drugs can negatively affect sexual health as they may decrease libido. Females using hormonal birth control techniques such as contraceptive rings, injection, and implant will likely experience decreased libido. Chronic conditions such as diabetes and heart disease can cause difficulties with sexual health, which may reduce sex drive. Now we now talk about sexual response cycle. Sexual response cycle is the sequence of physical and emotional changes that occur during sexual activity. They occur in 4 phases. 1, excitement or desire. 2 is arousal. 3 is orgasm. And the fourth one is resolution. Differences in male and female sexual response cycles can lead to mismatches in sexual timing. Husbands generally have higher sex drives than wives. However, in some couples, this pattern is reversed. But many times, wives will not necessarily feel intense sexual desire at the beginning of lovemaking. And that, I think that's why we often hear women talking about not being sexually satisfied by their husband because of these mismatches in libido. There is heightened excitement in the man and woman. Usually, this stage can last few minutes to hours. Muscle tension increases, heart rate quickens, and breathing gets faster. Nipples become hardened or erect. Blood flow from genitals increases, causing swelling of clitoris in female and the erection of penis in male. Factors that determine the successful attainment of excitement include the emotional dispositions of the spouses at the time, the attractiveness of dressing and attractiveness of the environment, the location, the lighting, the shooting scents, the music, non-external interference, comfortable temperature, and uninterruptible time. The next one is arousal. Heightened changes in excitement phase gets more intense. Arousal lasts until just before orgasm. The vagina continues to swell from increased blood flow, and the clitoris becomes more sensitive, which may be painful or at touch. Muscle tension, breathing, heart rate, and blood pressure continue to increase. Resolution. The body slowly returns to its normal level of functioning, and there is still sense of satisfaction even with fatigue. Harmonization of climax. Husband and wife do all they can to attain the climax of sexual satisfaction together in harmony, not selfishly at the expense of the other. In fact, under group discussion, I would like every group to deepen this particular point, because it has been observed that some men are being selfish when it comes to marital sex. They just want to satisfy themselves and do not even care about their wives. I would like to get more discussion on this in the various groups. To ensure mutual fulfillment, the husband should always slow down so as to reach the climax together with his wife. This is a very good point. There is always the need for harmonization of their minds and hearts, which is impossible without goodwill, without concern for the other, especially on the part of the husband, who must carefully observe and follow the reactions of his wife to carry her along. Help of a counselor may be needed to offer advice. Failure to obtain full gratification from the act by one party, especially wife, may lead to dissatisfaction and discouragement. This is the end of the presentation. At this point, I now invite our facilitator to use 5 minutes to summarize what I've read from his slides. Chief Okolie, 5 minutes, please, just to summarize all I read from the slides. Okay, I think it's not even here. Now we shall go to different groups now, as we did yesterday. I'm going to create 3 groups. The question to be discussed in the groups are as follows. Group 1, we discuss the problems that men have with their wives when it comes to sex, and also the problem that women have with their husbands with regards to sex. You can write it down. Group 2, we discuss why couples lose interest in sex today. And group 3, why couples deny sex to each other. I believe we all had fruitful discussion in our various groups. So at this point, we shall now take the report from various group leaders. I now call on group 1 leader to give us a summary of what you discussed in your group.
Okay, thank you, Father. Good evening, everyone. For group 1, we looked at the problems that women have with their men as regards to sex, and the problem that men do have with their women as regards to sex. And so in our group, we were able to discuss, and we actually found out that most of the problems are vice versa. And the first point we have here is that some men who have tested different styles or were promiscuous, or will I say fornicators before marriage, usually have problems sticking to their wives or being satisfied with sex. So also for women who have tested different men before marriage are often not satisfied, in sex during marriage or in marriage. So we said the solution to that will be, communication and openness, and then seek the advice from marriage counselor. Yeah. And then the second one is stress. We looked at how stress usually affects marriages. And when one partner, it can be both sides, when one partner is bugged out or burnt out, it can, of course, reduce libido, as you had said. So we looked at the solution as stress management. And one of our group members also mentioned something about sending love messages and preparing for sex ahead of time. Maybe during working hours, you can start preparing, for sex. And then also the men helping out in house chores and reducing the burden on the women can also help to reduce sex and prepare for 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 sex at the appropriate time. And we looked at the third point, which is poor communication. And here we are looking at both sides too. Yes, it can be for men and women. And we said inability to send the right signals, of course, maybe one partner libido is high and the other is low. How do they really communicate to ensure that both will be on the same level? All the foul plays and all that. So we looked at it and we said the solution to this would be to understand the love signals and the love languages, and it can also be a way to alleviate stress. And the fourth point we had is that naturally some women do not like sex. So we try to dissect a bit, and I think Peter in our group mentioned that yes, there should be a cause for this. And maybe he also narrated a scenario that happened in his pharmacy. Or maybe it could be as a result of dirtiness or cleanliness, that turns women off, or it can be the other side as well. So if the man or the woman is dirty, if there is unconducive environment, if there is a medical condition, or even if there is maybe lack of love or arranged marriage, no foul play or foreplay, sorry, no foreplay, and couple marrying without knowing each other could all be, contributing factors to why some women specifically do not like sex, or why maybe a man or some men do not like sex. Sorry, I'm trying to be biased a bit. Sorry about that. Then the solution to this is effective communication. Here we looked at the need to really be concise and clarity in communication and being straight to the point. Correctness need to be deployed to really solve this problem of either party not liking sex. And then the fifth one is issue of infidelity. Yeah, infidelity is also on both sides. We look at trust issues, and then this can lead to the other party trying to play safe and not trying to maybe issue of contracting diseases, or maybe suspecting that the wife or the spouse, sorry, either partner is cheating. So it can, lead to not having sex in marriage. And we looked at the solution to be, trying to draw closer to God, or understand their issues. Communication also, has a big role to play here, and also to engage marriage counselor to support them. Yeah, we also talked about transparency, people being or couple being transparent in their marriage. The fifth point we had here is lack of forgiveness. I think this is a huge one. Yes, if people are bearing grudges and grievances on each other, can really inhibit or reduce sex drive, and this can go a long way, devastating the marriage. So we looked at the solution as forgiveness, and trying to go through the process of healing, which takes a bit of time. The sixth point we got was a suspicion. I think it has something to do with lack of trust again. And we said that they were trying to point to the women, that women suspect their men a lot. I don't know, maybe it's a gender bias thing, but it tilted towards the women suspecting their men of infidelity, or accusing their husbands of infidelity. So the solution we looked at here is women should be less suspicious, try to dig deep and get to the roots. I think communication has a big role to play here. That's all we're able to capture. I don't know if anyone from our group has something else to add. Thank you very much.
Wow, robust discussion, robust one. I'm impressed with this group. Any addition from any member of this group one? Abimbola, go ahead.
Good evening. St. Peter was unable to contribute to the one in my group. Actually, I want to add that happiness it is also paramount for one to have an intimacy. If the party is not actually happy and the intimacy will not actually be there, all the points raised are correct. Communication is the key factor there, and forgiveness. We also have to look at the happiness of the joy of the couples before the intimacy can actually be in place. If the joy is not there of being together, you see that there will be problem in having anything that has to do with the intimacy. So
Okay,
that is
are
my
you a
own
member?
contribution.
Are you a member of that group?
Yes, Father. I was
Okay.
on transit, so I couldn't contribute when we
Okay,
were in
okay, okay.
the
Thank you. Okay, Chukwu,
All right.
are you a member of this group?
Yes,
Okay, Chukwu.
yes, I'm a member of the group. Yes, something was
Okay.
left out. Just like he said that most women suspect the husband. Also, we have issues of men that are too jealous. Once they see their wife talking to a man, they begin to suspect or they become jealous. And that can also affect the intimacy between them. Thank you.
Okay. Wow. That's a good one. Thank you. We now go to group two. Group two leader. Group two leader.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I'm speaking on behalf of the group two. Starts with the law of diminishing in marriage could affect loss of interest in sex. And what we mean there is activities that actually right from the beginning of the marriage makes the two couples to enjoy themselves in sex gradually diminishing. That alone could make the couples begin to lose interest. The second one has to do with the pressure of day-to-day activities. When there's too much pressures that both parties have to come home and get tired, or probably one of the couple get tired every now and then, and before you know it, loss of interest is coming on the other part. And then another one is general problem in marriage. When there is too much problem, we all know the economic meltdown that is happening in the country. So we use that as an instances where money is not forthcoming from the side of the man, and then before you know it, things get into problem, and loss of interest in sex will begin to take place. Another point has to do with medical challenge. In some cases, you discover that either of the couple will have medical challenge, and instead of communicating it to his or her partner, he keeps it to himself or herself, and then before you know it, you begin to have issues in having that sexual moment, and which also leads to infidelity. Either the problem is coming in from the woman, and before you know it, the man start practicing adultery. Thank God that the group one mentioned happiness. Happiness is another key thing. When there is no happiness in a relationship or marriage, it makes loss of interest in sex. Then another point is marriage requires sacrifice. Sacrifice in the sense that when you are having love making, it is good that you ensure that as much as a man you are having the satisfaction, feel the share of the woman having that same satisfaction too. And that alone could make the sex much more interesting. And then if at the end of it all, either of the party is losing this interest in the sex, it becomes another problem which could lead to adultery, which church kick against. Constant insatisfaction is still the same thing we're talking about. It makes the other party lose interest. And then key thing into marriage is love. When love keep going down the drain, the love that started from the marriage keep losing gradually. It makes the love, or the sex making gets reduced drastically. Poor personal hygiene is another problem. So when you are making sex, when both parties are making sex, ensure that you have this great hygiene that could attract your partners, wanting to have this. And sex has to do with a contact to contact moment. Communication is a key thing. Openness to each other, which alone could reduce defective in sex making. What we mean there is, if for instance, you could not explain your problem with your partner, and you feel that yes, she's a winch or is a wizard who should know your problem, then it becomes issue when it comes to sex making. So you should be open. You should be able to have this communication. This is my problem, and then provide solutions to it. Attitude to sex making is another thing, and what we mean there is, what are those things that attract you to that man or to that woman, and how do you share yourself when it comes to, probably, okay, this is what I am facing, this is how my love making is, and how do we get into it. The attitude to your sex matters too. And then this brings us to a very funny one, though. When the man, in a case of a man having a big penis, and then this alone turn off the woman from having good sex because of the pain she may go through. This alone could deteriorate the love attitude of the woman towards the man. And the question was actually raised, which the contribution was made in a situation where such a man, both of them could not have premarital sex before marriage, and then getting into the marriage, the woman discovered that the man has a big erection, and this brings fear to the woman. What should happen? Solutions were preferred that it has to do with the way the sexual mood started. When probably there's this great communication, there's this great romantic moments that could bring lubrications on the side of the woman, and gradually the man, with ease, without rushing, without getting quick arousement, wanting to penetrate on time, or probably the woman having to have a quick sex, that alone could gradually make the woman enjoy it without pain. And then it comes to mind again that as we grow old, some people lose interest because they feel that sex is basically for younger ones. So, which of course in our group, we make it a point of duty to still enlighten them that as you grow old does not mean sex making should be deteriorating. No. Day in, day out, you should always have something that will attract you to each other, where you have constant love. Age does not mean sex should should go down. Then finally, physical appearance matters a lot. The way you dress probably could attract your man or your woman to wanting to have you at every point in time matters. Probably you are this kind of person that you have a very tiny belly, or you have a very reduced belly at first, but now as a man, too much of beer is bringing your belly to grow, and the woman gradually begins to lose interest. What can you do to reduce it? All of these things matters. Your appearances that attract the woman is something that you should embed in your own lifestyle and sex making. That's our points.
Thank you so much. I'm actually amazed with these contributions. You people have really made my day. I'm actually happy. I'm amazed with these contributions coming from various groups. Before we go to group 3, please, group leaders, take note of this. I don't want what we are discussing to end here after this program is over. I have been saying this, that at the end of the workshop, we are going to make a handbook from this workshop. Please, group 1 leader and group 2 leader, these contributions, this report you people gave now, please, I want you to put them in writing. If you can't remember them, let me know now so that a member from that group will work with you. Mr. Peter and Mrs. Nena, these points you people raise now from your various groups, it's not going to end here. The points are not going to just remain here. I want you, after this workshop now, probably tonight or tomorrow, these points, put them into writing. All the points you mentioned, the explanations, made on each of them, put them into writing and send them to me when you are done for vetting. We are going to put the presentations in this workshop together to make a handbook out of it. Please take note of this. This is important. Put them into writing, give explanation given by the members. Let me have them. If you can't remember all that things said, you can also let me know now so that I will ask a member from each of the group to collaborate with these group leaders, that you may be able to put the ideas together. This will be for the benefit of all of us and for benefit of those who couldn't attend this workshop and for the benefit of the society, for the church at large. Please, this is important. May I now invite the leader of Group 3 to give us the reports?
Okay, thank you very much, Father. Head. Can you all hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. From our discussions, we came up with the following contributions. Our question says, why do couples deny each other sex? And our first contribution is 1, ignorance. Many couples are ignorant on the true ideology of sex in marriage. And another one again is that many of them think that sex is just meant for baby making. Oh, we have sex only when we want to produce baby because we need to make the children now. Then another one again is why do couples deny each other from sex? Is stress from work, either work from house chores, heavy workload from our places of work, the stress generally, and the poor economy of Nigeria, everybody hustling, and by the time couples come back home, they are all tired. Other contributions are relationship disputes. When couples have misunderstanding in their relationship, they tend to use sex as a weapon to fight back at each other or to get back at each other. And then anger also sets in. Some couples have temperament. They get angry, and then there's this transferred aggression. And they transfer this aggression when it's time for sex. Oh, let me come and see how you are going to have sex with me after you have done this. So it's more like weaponizing sex. Then our fifth contribution is circle of friends. Sometimes couples have wrong circle of friends, and these friends tend to influence them with poor orientation, especially in the cases where either of the spouse have more friends who are singles, who are not yet married. And so the kind of discussion they have with these singles who are yet to be married sometimes influences their actions towards their spouse. 6, lack of knowledge on the biblical injunction of marriage. And one of us gave a Bible portion from 2 Corinthians, where St. Paul urged both spouses not to deny each other of their sexual right, except on agreement on health grounds or spiritual reasons. But couples are ignorant of this aspect. And also another portion of the Bible was drawn from the Songs of Solomon, that we are supposed to even praise our spouse, call our spouse pet names, but most times these are absent in the relationship. And so couples don't even know that they are supposed to give their husbands or their wife pet names, and how much more of denying them of sex. Then the seventh contribution is poor sexual communication. Couples do not communicate. They tend to communicate almost about everything in the home, finance, children, in-laws, but when it comes to sexual intercourse, they have sexual intercourse, but do not communicate on the aftermath, or rather, if they enjoy themselves during sex. If this couple, if this partner attain climax or not, they don't share it. The foreplay, did I enjoy what my partner did? They don't discuss that. And because of that, they tend to drift apart. The eighth contribution is poor hygiene, that sometimes couples deny each other because either of the partner is dirty, and then they don't know how to communicate to the other one that, oh, I don't want to have sex with you because you are smelling or you are not in good shape. Our ninth contribution is on wrong traditions and cultural norms and values. And one of us gave example from the Igbo culture that most times the men are domineering. They tend to feel that the women are their properties. And so when it comes to sex, I must have my way, whether you are in the mood or not. And then they tend to be rough in the act. And so that may make the wife to always want to avoid or not looking forward to having sexual intercourse in the nearest future. Then the 10th contribution is low libido resulting from use of artificial family planning methods. This lowers the sex hormone or the sex drives from the women towards their husband. Then sometimes too, when mothers are pregnant or when they are breastfeeding, that's lactating mothers, they are breastfeeding their babies, it also lowers the sex hormone. And so most times they tend to not to be in the mood. Our 11th contribution is on infidelity. As sometimes couples, either spouse may be having an affair outside marriage, adultery, so to say, and having spent a lot of time out there having fun, when he or she comes home, is no longer attracted to his married partner at home, and always giving the excuses of, I'm tired, I'm not interested, I'm not in the mood. Then our 12th contribution is no friendship in marriage. Emotional life of couples are usually very dull towards one another. They feel most couples find it difficult to actually express their true feelings on how they feel about each other. So when this is absent, friendship is not there, they are not attracted to each other, and they don't look forward to having sexual intercourse. Then natural family planning. Another school of thought is that as a result of natural family planning, when it's time for abstinence, we don't want to make the baby. So couples tend to avoid each other. I don't want to get pregnant because we do not need the baby at this time. And so either spouse may say, no, we don't need the baby now, so we cannot have sex. And maybe the other partner is in the mood. And because this other one doesn't want to take in, you say, no, I'm not in the mood. Then our last contribution was on higher libido or low libido from either spouse. Sometimes the man may have a higher libido than his wife, and sometimes the wife may have a higher libido than the husband. And because of this, sometimes the man may always be in the mood and the woman may not, or vice versa. These are our contributions so far. If there's anyone I forgot, please, those from our group can as well drop them in. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Yuval. Thank you. Robust discussion. I'm very impressed. Like I said earlier, please write something down. Write these points down with explanation on each of them and send to me. You made mention of St. Paul speaking about not denying each other's selves. That is from First Corinthians. That is from First Corinthians chapter 7, verse 4. Verse 5. First Corinthians chapter 7, verse 5. Let me read
First Corinthians 7.
First Corinthians chapter 7, verse 5. Let me read it out. Do not deprive each other except by mutual consent and for a time, so that you may devote yourself to prayer. Then come together again, so that Satan will not tempt you because of your lack of self-control. First Corinthians chapter 7, verse 5. Okay, that should be all for group 3. Does anybody have something to add with regards to the presentation from group 3? Okay, your presentation is even robust. You capture everything, I believe. Now, at this point, we are now at the final part of our workshop. That is general question. General question. The questions raised in your different groups, which you are unable to address or answer, you can bring it up now. Or any other question that was not even raised in your group. Anybody wants to ask now? That is the last part. Okay, Mr. Peter Johnson.
Thank you very much, Father. Alongside why group 3 were mentioning their points, there's this particular area that actually strike me. Father, is it advisable a couple, either the husband or wife, amidst their friends, discuss the sexual life of their partner? I've seen in the case, and this is cut across both men and both male and female, both husband and wife. Amidst in the midst of their friends, they begin to discuss the style my wife loves most, the way we do it, the hours we spend, and all stuff. And I begin to like, this should be between you and your wife. Why must you discuss it outside? So I don't know. Is it normal for a couple to either the husband or wife to discuss sexual relationship of their partner amidst their friends?
It's madness.
Okay, facilitator, Mr. Polycarp, over to you. What do you have to say about that, facilitator? Unmute yourself. You are muted, Mr. Polycarp.
Okay, the issue of sexual, act is a private, affair between the man and the wife, and therefore they ought not to discuss anything that is private to their family, to their marriage, with any other person outside of themselves. And then conjugal act is exclusive, and because once it is divulged, that might actually create a problem of sharing, their minds, with themselves. They begin to avoid the things that they would do that, for example, the other spouse will now take outside. It might not diminish, it would actually diminish the desire for them to have sex in future.
Okay, thank you. Does somebody have something to add to this? No. I now call on the second person, Mrs. Choma Ihedioha.
Good evening, all, once again. Our
Good
father, in the case of a person, a young man with a small penis, whose wife is complaining bitterly of the size of the penis, and he decided to go and do plastic enlargement so that he can satisfy the wife. What implication has this over the marriage?
Thanks for raising the question. There was a case, something like that, killed a man. Wanted to satisfy his wife, went to use one aboki cream or whatever. And that's it. Now he got erection that couldn't come down. It went up but couldn't come down. Was taken to hospital and eventually the man died. I don't know why a man should do that. That is coming from me. Personally, the way God has created you, I will say this, and I have to emphasize it once again. Keep on saying it. The way God has created you, God created you for a reason. You can't be wiser than God now. Don't come and in order to satisfy your wife, you now go and get do plastic enlargement, do plastic surgery, use creams, use all kinds of things. Those things, doctors in the house will explain better. They have they have their own implication. A lady once did a BBL, did surgery of her backside. After the thing didn't go well, it started decaying. Water started coming out, and she died. A celebrity. Most of you must have heard the story. It happened sometime last year, last 2 years. So that is not the best way. That is not the way God has created you. Is for a reason. And if your wife loves you, why would the woman now push you to go and do plastic surgery to change your body in order to satisfy her? That is the love now. And sex therapists will tell you that sex is not about the size, but the skills used. You can meet a counselor who can help you, propose skills that will help you to enjoy sex in your marriage, not by doing enlargement, doing surgery, and all of that. Okay. Let me allow the facilitator to add the word if he has something to add, or we move to the next person.
I think Father, you have answered the question actually.
Okay, so please, the person that raised this question, thank you for raising it. Thank you for raising it. That is a practical question. That's what's happening in the society. If you go to social media everywhere, you see all kinds of drugs, medication. The worst of it is the one they sell at the roadside, the way they advertise it, talk about it, you know that this is even fake. You shouldn't risk your life. Wives in the house, please help your husband. If you discover that maybe the penis is not good enough, help. Let them have they should not have low self-esteem. Sometimes the way you talk to them make them to feel less a man, feel embarrassed. They now go and drink one herb. No, now, please. It could be on the side of the woman. It's good we talk about this now. Let us talk about it. Know the right thing, do the right thing, and teach the right thing. Thank you. Mrs. Adobe.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I want to contribute to what the first question that asked if it's good for people to talk about their sexual life with their friends. So I want to say that it's actually not so good because it can expose the marriage to even temptation. Sometime last 2 years, a lady said with me that she caught her best friend with her husband in the hotel. And when the interrogation started, she noticed that she was actually the one that shot herself at the leg because she's always in this habit of sharing her sexual life with the friend, telling the friend how the husband used to handle her in bed and stuff like that. And the friend was like, wow, that she wants to have a share in all the enjoyment and stuff like that. And before you know it, the friend seduced the husband and they started sleeping out. And, before, in fact, she got to know after some months, years into their sexual life. So it's some of this, because sometimes you may think people are your friend, but you don't know that they are either, even jealous of you or maybe competition and stuff like that. So some of these things, just secret, even when they try to ask you some questions, because this thing is common among us ladies. Sometimes a lady will be asking you, how long does your husband stay in bed, things like that. So you won't know that they just want to know some things about your husband so that they will know how to penetrate and stuff like that. And we have a lot of things now going on in the society. People don't see infidelity as anything again. You see married women going after married men, you see married men going after. So we need to, to be wise in handling some of these issues. You need to guide your marriage, as in guide it jealously, meticulously, anyhow you can handle it. Thank you very much.
God bless you. Mr. Peter.
Yes, brother. My own is about what we should do before a child reach the age of marriage. I think maybe the church will help us because all we are talking about infidelity, small penis, big penis, this. A married person will not be aware of this rubbish if he or she is not involved in, yes, is not involved in fornication before marriage. When a woman or man has tasted so many, definitely he cannot be faithful in marriage, and he can never be satisfied with any woman. So also a woman. So yeah, we need to do something seriously. We should not just have pre-marriage class for those who are preparing for marriage immediately. I think we should have a stage in the church where we will be prepared towards marriage, not just for marriage, so that people will know the implication of what they are doing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. God bless you. Dr. Folorunsho.
Thank you, Father, for allowing me. I want to comment on a statement made by the third group pertaining to the natural family planning causing a sexual distraction or sexual making the couples not to be interested again because the time of abstinence that the one person may want to have the other and he will not be able to do it. It's a wrong philosophy about the natural family plan, especially the Billings method I know about. The Billings method, for instance, is a way of life. You can't tell me that the abstinence, if you know how to use the method very well, and you are well taught, you know that the infertile period, you will have enough and enough sexual intercourse. Couples, I want to point out that couples do not get the satisfaction of sexual intercourse because they are not really one together. They are not one mind, one heart, and one body. If sexual intercourse is performed perfectly, especially in the use of Billings method, and during the infertile periods, you have enough sex, you will not be hungry for sex for just an abstinence of about 1 week. Many couples are not having sexual intercourse. From my experience of teaching, there was one class I taught in 1998 or 99 in Benin. They came as advanced couples to come and do their wedding. I taught them. The woman cried for hours. He said, if he had known what I'm teaching at this level, many couples are not having sexual intercourse. If you have sexual intercourse and you get to the peak, the two couples will vanish and they will not even know whether they are existing again. So many couples, they should learn. Couples should be taught how to have sexual intercourse. They should be one mind, one heart, one body. And if you have a quality sexual intercourse, you will not be hungry for another one so soon. So this is my point. From experience and from what I have taught over the years, I have discovered that because of that truth, that couples refuse to live as couples, but they continue to live as separate lives. They cannot attain the peak of what sexual intercourse is all about. So let's remove the Love and Life Billings method or any of the natural method. It disturbs nobody. The fertility of a woman is barely a week. So if a quality sexual intercourse is really achieved by a couple, whereby they get to climax and they vanish, they slip off, I don't think they hunting and running up and down to look for sex everywhere. So couples should improve. And if they don't know, they should ask the marriage counselors to teach them and to enlighten them the more. Thank you very much, Father.
Okay, Sister Kelechi sent something. Natural family planning is a way of life by mutual agreement of the couple. How does the denial of sex come into it? That is in line with what Dr. Folorusho said. Natural family planning, the man and the woman agree. It's not what one party does. There must be an agreement. And if there is an agreement in it, so definitely there will be no denial. So why are you denying me this or why are you denying me that? Problem comes in when there is no agreement. The wife is ready, the man is not. Once there is an agreement, definitely the denial of sex does not come in. And the truth of the matter is that many couples don't really practice natural family planning the way it ought to be practiced. Others know only the billing method. Anyway, tomorrow we are going to talk about NAPRO technology. So the point remains, what Dr. Folorusho said is correct from her own angle. And Sister Kelechi brought the aspect of agreement to the discussion, that it is important to have that agreement. If there is no agreement, that's where you can be talking about problem. Why are you denying me sex or why are you not denying me? Definitely, there should be an agreement between the two parties. Okay, we take Mrs. Ozo. Is that Mrs. Ozo A or another Ozo? Unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Father. It's Uzo A. Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay, I can go ahead now. All right, so I wanted to react to, I think it was whether the first or second question about sharing details of your relationship. To be honest, not just the sexual part of your relationship with maybe friends or just random people. And that is absolutely true, that you should not make your details of your marital life, subject for idle talk amongst whether they are your friends or relatives or, just anybody you see. And so whether it's sexual matters or anything else, But I want to just highlight that there are times when people are in trouble, they're having issues, and they may not know who the right people are to talk to. They may not maybe have access to counselors, or they may just not know where to start. And the consideration then has to be, and maybe that person is not able to qualify, okay, I need help, who do I talk to? And in those cases, maybe you have to, probably not for people in this group, because you would know maybe counselors or who you can ask for a qualified counselor that can listen to what you're saying. But there could be times when people have those conversations because they are really seeking help. They have an issue, they don't know what to do, and they just want to just speak to somebody, and hopefully that will be the beginning of something. So I tend to think that, yes, we should be able to look for qualified people to deal with, or we can put our concerns to, who will now direct us to whether they are professionals in different areas that may be able to help us. And when you say, okay, no, I'm supposed to keep this matter to myself because it's about my marriage, and you don't have a solution of yourself, and you just, maybe it's killing you what's going on. So I think we should be able to make that distinction when it's just idle talk that's not going anywhere, or maybe you're bragging or you're complaining, but you're not complaining to somebody that can help you. And when you're actually talking to someone because you feel they can lead you towards the solution you're looking for. So I just wanted that, distinction.
Okay, the person that asked the question is coming from the second angle, the second point, whereby you just say it as a way of not just gossiping, but there are people that have their mouth, they can see anything. They reveal their privacy, their secrecy to their best friends, especially on the side of women. On the side of women, you have a very good friend. You now tell everything about your marriage, your sex life, and no, that is where the person was coming from. But sure, if there is someone that can help you in that area, either a counselor or a mentor, marriage educator, you share that. You're looking for a problem. You're looking for a solution. That is not, that is the best. Thank you. Someone asked question concerning.
Sorry. Just to round up there. So what do we do when we overhear such talk? And even if we are not qualified to deal with it ourselves, we could maybe
you refer the person to a counselor, to a professional. Yes, refer the person, please.
Exactly. All right.
So good. Someone asked question about natural family planning. We are not going to respond to this question now because today's talk workshop is not on natural family planning. But I'm going to ask Sister Kelechi, who is an expert in natural family planning. I will discuss with her to look for a day to give a teaching on natural family planning on the WhatsApp group, especially with regards to this kind of question. The question, if we see the question on the chat, whether couples have enough time in the infertile period to have sex. Because Sister Kelechi, you are here. We discussed that later to have a day of teaching with regards to natural family planning on the WhatsApp group so that members can learn more on natural family planning. I thank you. I now invite called Jacinta Mario Emagi. Please unmute yourself, Mrs. Jacinta Mario.
Thank you, Father, for permitting me. Good evening, everyone. I want to make comments. I want to thank Father, especially one, for coming out to handle such sensitive issue that has been silenced somehow in the church. Because if most of our Catholic priests will come out to talk about sex as this, I think will go a long way to correct a lot of sexual challenges among couples. Like one of the earlier speakers said, it will also be good to encourage facts of life. I'm also a pro-lifer. I've been teaching Billings method or being a pro-lifer for years. That is the area the church permits self-education to be taught to the youth in view of marriage before they wed. And while preparing for wedding as Catholic, other natural family planning will be taught to them, like Billings method and others. Then it's left for the couple to choose. But the area I'm going is that in most parishes, they are not given enough time during marriage class to be taught the way of life. That's natural family planning. And that's why many Catholics are not practicing it. But today I'm happy. Even when we had our cathedraticum today, the Knights of St. Mulumbas in our diocese, Abeokuta diocese, are sharing flyers, pro-life. So I think it's poor awareness. The church should create proper awareness in dissemination of information regarding the way to life using natural family planning. It works. Like for instance, as sister has said, even in Billings method I've been teaching, during the early stages where ovulation has not occurred, you can use the 3 early day rules to guide where the husband can alternate sexual relationship. And after that, ovulation occurs only but within 24 hours. It's just for you to monitor the signs and be honest to yourself. Then the sperm, when deposited in the vagina, lasts for 3 days. So add them together, just 4 days within a month. The rest, you can use it however you want sexually. But remember, 1 Corinthians chapter 7, our coordinator in group 3 quoted me wrongly. It's not 2 Corinthians, it's 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 5, he said that do whatever that delights each other, and sex is an obligation. So if the Bible tells you, except the two agree to go into prayer for a while, that's the only time they can leave sex. And you know, only a couple can feed the whole community. It calls for discipline. So the point I'm making there is that the church should create time. We should not rush marriage class. We should teach them properly and make them know that before the church can abide such laws or welcome such laws in the church, they must have scrutinized properly. It's working and it's real. So that's the area I have to add and emphasize more.
Thank you. I call on Omono Akua. Unmute yourself, Omono. Omono. Unmute yourself. Okay, the next person, Choma Hidioha. Unmute yourself. Choma Hidioha.
Thank you, Father, once again.
Have you spoken? Hold on. Have you spoken? Have you asked your question?
No, I've not asked my question. I'm just coming back to ask the question.
Okay.
Yes, I'm still on the issue of sex and on the exposure of maybe couples, somebody coming out to talk about their sexual relationship with another one. In a case where someone is living in a first me, I face you, and or even within one room and the children are inside the room, and always the father will be fighting the mother because of sex. What will be the reaction of the children and even those in the compound? Because sometimes this man will even pursue the woman out, and she may even run into another person's room, maybe hiding into that room, maybe telling the neighbor that look at what my husband is pursuing me for, even in front of these children. How do we see this, and how do we help such a person?
Facilitator, did you get the question?
I got the question, Father. You know, the thing is that the entire thing is about formation. That is how because somebody, you know, is acting based on what he or she knows, and the circumstance, you know, under which he is living. I think the only thing is that somebody who is close to the man, for example, should be able to advise him, you know, and the wife that this is, you know, that they have a constrained environment. And therefore, for the children, the couple, it might be wise for the couple to have sexual relations when the children are there. It is not wise at all. So they should be able to make out a time when the children are not off. For example, they can send out the children, go and play, and then they have their sexual relations. And it will not be wise for the man. It is not proper at all to you know, act in such a way that the neighbors will know that, you know, something is happening. So it is a question of prudence for them to use their senses to know that this thing is not what should be done, you know, in the midst of, it is a private affair, purely private between the couple. That's my answer.
Okay, thank you. Sometimes environment doesn't help matter. Sometimes poverty too contributes to it. When they live in one room and they have 3, 4 kids in the same room, you know, many couples have that as a challenge. Maybe when they think that the children are already sleeping, not knowing that the children are awake and watching what they are doing. But what you said is in order. If you say find a way to send them to play, what of at night? Will they go and play at night? You know, I think it's a challenge, but every couple should find a way to go about it. The point still remains that it is not ideal to to have sexual intimacy when your children are in the same room with you. It's something practical. Every couple can find a way to handle. Thank you. Mr. Joe. Mr. Joe, you are raising your hand, please. Mr. Joe.
Good evening, Father.
Good evening.
There's a question that I needed to answer quickly from group 3. So there's a woman that asked a question. It said, is it necessary for a wife to be wearing this kind of clothes that ladies nowadays are wearing? So on that age, we discussed on the personal hygiene and how the wife become what we wear that will make you look nice and attractive. Yes, what she asked, actually I raised that thing, but she said, is it really right? Fine, it is right. As a couple, both of you should be able to dress neat, look spick and span. Not necessarily you be opening your body like at sometimes certain clothes that you put on that will make that both of you look attractive to that. When we talk about denials of sex and that thing, so within your house, in your rooms, or some certain things you wear, not that you be tying wrappers up and down inside the house. You look so neat and attractive to each other. That's what we're trying to see to that time. Not like the wife should be wearing naked or worldly clothes. No, there's some certain clothes that a wife should wear that will look attractive to her husband, and some certain dress that a man will look attractive or wear that will look attractive and sexy to our wife. So that is what I just want to quickly address. Because she asked the question before we ended class that time, so we could not address it.
Okay, thank you. That's part of what the facilitator said, that there should be immediate preparation towards sexual intimacy. You prepare for it. It's not just what comes. There should be preparation. And again, it's good you set the record straight. You create the environment conducive for it. Not when the man is not happy as a result of quarrel, or when the lady is not happy as a result of issue in the marriage, and you now want to start dressing in a sexually appealing way. His mind may not be there, her mind may not be there. I also think it's good you just like someone said that anytime she made her husband angry, she uses sex to make the situation better or something like that. Not every man, it can't work for every man. When the man is angry, is not happy, if you like, be naked before him, his mind is not there. What you are doing is not his business. I also believe that it's good. One group mentioned that it's something of the mindset, work on the mind. Let there be peace at home. When there is no peace at home, when there is conflict, there is issue, quarrel, every other thing you talk about sex may not make sense. I just want to bring this aspect too. You prepare the minds, prepare the body, prepare the environment, make it conducive for sex. Just as you noted, you dress in a way that it will be appetitive to the spouse. The final person is Sister Kelechi. Sister Kelechi, may we hear you now and we conclude. Sister Kelechi, you can unmute yourself.
Thank you very much. Good evening. And good evening, everyone. Thank you all for this brilliant discussion here today. I just want to say a word or two regarding the suggestions that have been made, or the requests that have been made for the church to teach sexuality training for younger people. It is something that is there in the church. It's not as if the church doesn't have that as part of its program. In fact, it's been known since. For example, in the Catholic Church, marriage preparation is actually in 3 stages. It's recommended in 3 stages. What we call the remote preparation, which happens at home by parents. And it is during this remote preparation that we begin what we call age and language appropriate sexuality education, right from the home. And then there's the proximate preparation, which is when these children have now become maybe adolescents, they are going to higher institutions, secondary school to higher institutions. The church continues and the society continues and the parents continue also teaching. And it's not just about sexuality, it's preparing them for life, not just marriage alone, but also for those who may go into priesthood and religious life. And then there's what we call the immediate preparation. At the immediate preparation, they would have known all these facts about life, about their sexuality, about how their bodies function, both the male and the female. And unfortunately, it's this immediate preparation that we now do here in Nigeria, and we load everything into it. It's difficult, but I know that the Catholic Secretariat of Nigeria has a program now. I know it's still not the ideal thing, but at least I think they have given time there for natural family planning. However, I want to say that there are programs we have for young people. For example, I am now in the process of reviving a program that we taught in this country in 2004 from the Catholic Secretariat of Nigeria. It's called Teen Star Program. Teen Star, teen referring to teenagers, and the star referring to sexuality training in the context of adult responsibility. Star, S-T-A-R. Sexuality training in the context of adult responsibility. It is based on, in fact, the people who founded it, it's based on Billings' method of natural family planning. And we taught it, at least in Abuja and in Lagos, we trained teachers for it. I don't know what happened to those teachers now. In any case, I am in the process. I have been in touch with the group in America. I'm in the process of trying to revive that program, Teen Star, because it has been very, very good in the countries where they are practicing it. And I know at the time we taught people, they were very happy with it. However, like everything else in Nigeria, things come, things go. So it's not as if the church has not or does not encourage or doesn't even have program. No, the church has, and it's appropriate. But parents also, it has to start with you. You're the primary educators, like I said the other day. You have to know what to teach and you have to know how to teach. But if you are not able to even live natural family planning as you're supposed to, how can you now teach your children these facts of life? Because it's not something it's a role modeling thing. It's training. Training simply means you follow the engine where it is, and that's what the children do. They follow you whatever you do. So I want to, the way people are saying the church has done. It's over to you. Ask question where you want or you need these things. Ask where it's available, and together, because the church is all of us. Together, let us help our children. Let us do something. Let us bring about a change. Because indeed, marriage is collapsing because of all these kind of things. And anyway, I thank you, Father, for this program. So, Father, thank you very much. Thank you. I think I made my point.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate your contribution. At this point, please, Akua Omono, you have been raising your hands. Please, you have 1 minute to speak. I called you before, you didn't speak. Commit yourself.
Father, I'm sorry. I've been having a difficult session today because I'm trying to mediate and counsel a client. Yes, thank you, Father, for calling me. It's a very rich session today. I don't know where I have missed, sincerely, but the truth is that I'm trying to see how I can help those in the pre-marriage course in my parish. Many of them, I don't know if this question has been brought up before, many of them come out with the fact that, yes, Mrs. Akuga, the church teaches that couples should be chaste before marriage. Father, you stop me if this question has been asked before. So couples should be chaste before marriage. Now, getting into marriage, they now find out that their sexual life is not what they had planned for. I know we had talked about couples, individuals, getting into a sexual life before marriage, which has exposed them to so many things and wanting the drama to happen in their marriage, which they now find out in reality they cannot get. So the question is, the church teaches that every couples intending to marry should be chaste before marriage. In fact, they are supposed to, like we are supposed to also be teaching youths all the way through, remain chaste until marriage. Now they get into marriage. The marriage is not working because the sexual life is not what they had planned for. We have talked about the small penis. We also know that some men have the very large penis. It's difficult for women because of pain. So they are looking for people to talk to. So what do we do in talking to participants so that they can remain chaste? I've cut one from here that we should give teachings to youths long before their intention to marry. Thank you very much, Father. Thank you, my brothers and sisters.
Thank you. We have discussed something like this here before. In fact, someone said to me, Father, the church needs to change that teaching that there is no sex before marriage. In fact, anywhere it is in the Bible, it should be cancelled. We have to remove that part of the Bible that encourages that. She says she's talking from her experience. My dear, the point remains this, that chastity, everyone is called to chastity before marriage. Those who are even married are called to marital chastity. Those who have embraced celibacy are called to chastity. To say, okay, because when I enter into marriage, I'm going to have a sexual encounter which will destroy my marriage. It's better the church allows those who are preparing to marry to have sexual exploration, to check their body, to have sex as much as they want. If you begin to give this kind of teaching, you are even destroying marriages more and more. How many men are they going to test? How many women are they going to test? Okay, I have slept with you. The size of the penis is not what I want. I now sleep with this man. The one is bigger. Okay, I now sleep with this. Is that how? What is testable is rejectable. That is not even the solution. Let us not go into unchastity as a solution to problem in sex. No, we are not going to find the answer in that angle. That is why it is encouraged to have marital counseling, to premarital counseling, to have medical examination, to have discussions. Those things are really going to help. That is one. Then two, understand that marriage itself is a sacrifice. Many young people enter into marriage removing that mindset of sacrifice. So it has element of sacrifice that when you enter into it, you have to be ready. You have to be ready, my dear brothers and sisters. You have to be ready to walk with the Lord. Say, Lord, you are the one leading me to this vocation. It is a vocation. You walk with them. Once you have done what you are supposed to do before entering into marriage, attend necessary counseling, attend marriage classes, pre-marriage classes, do all necessary. Commit every other thing in the hands of God. Enter into marriage, walk with the Lord. The Lord will lead you to the right path. Definitely, after testing all the people you want to test, sleep with many men or women in order to look for the best suitor. If you do that, enter into marriage. Who says that inside that marriage, that issue of sex will still not come out? Okay, let us not adulterate the word of God. The word of God remains this: keep away from sexual immorality, embrace faithfulness to God in body, in soul, in spirit, be chaste. And it pays to be so. In your marriage classes, emphasize that point that it is important to remain chaste. Unchastity before marriage will never and cannot solve the problem of sexual intimacy in the context of marriage. So help them, let them meet medical experts, let them meet counselors, let them meet let those who are into marriage assist them, tell them how they were able to overcome their own problem and issues. This will definitely help. Never you make mistake to say, okay, because of this problem, because of this, that is good, you begin to explore yourself sexually. If you do that and you have a counselor, you have a license in marriage counseling, that license should be withdrawn. If you do that, you are not representing the church. You are not being an evangelist. You are not being an apostle. Every marriage educator in a parish is an apostle. You are an evangelist. If you do that, you are not preaching the word of God. You are not preaching the word of man. And that's what the world wants today. Stick to what is holy, to what is good, to what is noble. Stick to it, and in it, you will find mercy, you find salvation, you find goodness, you find joy. Every married person will find peace. So the teaching is still valid and will always remain valid. Unchastity before marriage will never and cannot solve the problem of sexual intimacy in marriage. There should be help from the medical and every other area to help those into marriage. Avoid that temptation, please. Avoid that temptation to say, okay, explore sexually before you marry. They will ask you questions that will push you towards that line. When they bring many stories that this person, this family, you say, okay, I agree with you. You can now, please avoid that temptation. There is no solution if you follow that line. Thank you. Dr. Achebe is raising hand, but I want us to conclude now. Dr. Achebe, you have 1 minute. Dr. Achebe, you are raising your hand. Okay, Mr. Peter, you are raising hand again. You have 1 minute.
Thank you, Father. I have a case on ground and I quickly want to share it. There is this lady who is married about 4 years ago. And then at first, although they had a child now, at first she probably never discovered that her husband is a diabetic patient, and then which a little bit was affecting the erection. At a point, the diabetes became chronic. That was even after the first child. Now, it has rendered the man or the husband impotent in a way that the man could not even have any erections at all. And now, the lady is still in her late 20s because she got married at the age of 24 or thereabouts. So she's still in her late 20s. In this position, what do you think she needs to do? Now, knowing fully well that the tradition of the two parties from the eastern part, before such a marriage could be nullified, there are some process that have to go through. Fortunately, Catholic too, the Catholic Church will have to go through some process, some investigations and all that before knowing what next to do. But at this point, she's still trying to hold back ourselves until recently that she had to allow the cat out of the bag by explaining it to her mother-in-law And the mother-in-law in turn now is now like, you just have to hold on, you just have to be patient, all will be well. And she already knew that there's nothing left again. So I don't know what advice can be given to such a person.
I think a doctor in the house should respond to that. I don't think somebody suffering from diabetes, the person will become impotent to the extent that it becomes incurable. I still believe that there is a medical remedy to that. Dr. Chebe, you are here, please. Could you say something to that? I don't think so that the person becomes perpetually impotent, that nothing could be done. But in case it is the case that he becomes impotent perpetually, my dear, the answer remains this. It is not a grant for matrimonial nullity. It is not a grant to declare that marriage null. That's the point I said before. There's a temptation that will come, a challenge, a difficulty that will come, in marriage. One has to accept defeat. It is difficult to say this, it is sad to say this, but this is where one needs God the most. This is where one needs God the most, because it is a challenge, it is a marital challenge, it is a problem. And the answer will not be that she should go and remarry, leave the man, go and look for another man and marry. That is not the answer. The answer is that this has become a marital cross, and she can be accompanied by the church, counselors. The Christian community has to assist such lady in this kind of situation, but the remedy will never be to nullify that marriage. That is not the answer. I still believe that there could be a medical remedy, medical solution to that kind of situation. There is a doctor in the house. Dr. Chebe, unmute yourself, please. You'll be the final speaker. We can't hear you, Dr. Chebe. Unmute yourself.
No. But, Father, can I talk? I had a case like
this. Okay, please go ahead. Show my head you.
Yes, my husband died 12 years back as a result of diabetes that led to dialysis for a year. And as a result of that, his penis was not moving again. He couldn't even perform. And he realized that this is a case for him. He saw it. He called me and even told me that, yes, this is what has come up now. That he is sorry that he cannot perform as a man. That
your voice is low. We can't hear you very well.
Yes, that he's sorry that he cannot perform any longer because of his illness. So what I told him is that this is my cross. If God has allowed it, then let me carry it. And along with carry, I continued managing him, and even for over 2 years, we couldn't even meet till he died. So I see it as a cross that has come to anyone. It depends on who and how you can manage your own. So let her see it as what God has brought to her. And by the grace of God, if God says that man can come back tomorrow, there be it. So, but as of now, I don't think that the church will annul her marriage because this is something that has come after the marriage. Not that this thing the man carried it. It's not part of an impediment that can make her to go out of the marriage. Thank you.
Father, the illness started before the marriage. It was just like the lady wasn't aware that the man has such illness and some other illness coupled with it. It was before the marriage. It was after the marriage she discovered, but the illness started even before the marriage.
It's okay. It's okay. From what you said now, that marriage should be presented to marriage tribunal. The diocesan marriage tribunal should now examine the marriage to know if it is the case of impediment of antecedents and perpetual impotence. Antecedents and perpetual impotence is a ground for matrimonial nullity. So the marriage can be presented to the diocesan marriage tribunal, who will now examine the marriage, okay? From the last point you made now.
Thank you, Father.
All right. In a very special way, I thank all of us. I thank our dear facilitator, Chief Polycarp Okolie, for his presentation. Chief Polycarp, we really thank you for facilitating today's workshop. Despite the fact that we have network issue, we were able to scale through. All glory be to God. Thank you, Chief Okolie. Thank you, all participants, for your patience, for your time. All the group leaders, I really appreciate you all for the reports you gave and the robust discussion we had in our different groups. It was really amazing. I'm really impressed. I, as a priest, I have learned something from you all. In this program, I learned too. I learned. Thank you, and God bless you. Tomorrow, we have day 3 of our workshop, which will be on NAPRO technology. Many people have been asking questions on NAPRO technology, and many don't even know what NAPRO technology is all about. Tomorrow, we shall hear from Dr. Francis Achebe, who is a professional in that area, to come and speak to us about NAPRO technology. Thank you, and God bless you all. Announcements, I keep on making this announcement that we have YouTube channel. You people should help us, help Catholic Marriage Forum to grow the channel. That's all I can say now. Help Catholic Marriage Forum to grow the channel. You can share it or subscribe to it. The workshop we have, the one we had this day, the one of today, and the one of tomorrow, all will be edited. The audio will be edited and be sent. The video, will be edited and be sent in the YouTube channel. There is a form that we have created to know. Engineer Polycarp, are you back? Definitely, his network is bad. Okay, the theme is sexual intimacy, bonding factor in marriage. In the first 2 slides, we talked about St. Paul, 1 Corinthians chapter 7 from verse 3 to 5, talking about not denying your body to your spouse unless it is a mutual agreement. And we are going to develop this discussion in our various groups. Conjugal or sexual act achieves 2 ends in marriage. Sexual act is the climax of affective love between spouses. It is not only something illicit, it is a noble act, a noble reality, pleasing to God and necessary to achieve perfect union between husband and